Right now, at this very moment. You're trapped inside a system you didn't choose. The gasoline you pump, the drugs you swallow, the apps you scroll, the bank that holds your money. Every single one of them uses the exact same playbook. A playbook written by one man 150 years ago. And here's the terrifying part. You cannot escape it. I'm Walter Grant, and welcome to Draxiver. In 1870, a 31-year-old bookkeeper in Cleveland, Ohio, controlled just 4% of America's oil refining. 10 years later, he controlled 90%. By 1904, he controlled 91% of all oil production in the country. His name was John D. Rockefeller, and the system he built, the corporate structures he invented, the monopolistic tactics he perfected. They didn't die when Standard Oil was broken up in 1911. They evolved, they spread, and they control your life right now. In 2025, you see, Rockefeller didn't just build an oil empire. He built the architecture of modern corporate control, the template for every monopoly that exists today. Amazon uses it, Google uses it, Pfizer uses it, JP Morgan uses it. They all learn from the same blueprint, the Rockefeller blueprint. And understanding this system isn't academic. It's survival, because the system is designed to do one thing: extract wealth from you and concentrate it at the top. Let me show you exactly how it works. John D. Rockefeller was born July 8, 1839. His father was a con man who sold fake cancer cures. His mother was a devout Baptist. This combination, the con man's ruthlessness and the Baptist moral certainty, would define everything Rockefeller did. He would destroy his competitors without mercy, while genuinely believing God had chosen him to bring order to chaos. This wasn't hypocrisy. This was conviction. In 1859, oil was discovered in Pennsylvania. Thousands of prospectors flooded in. Fortunes were made and lost overnight. It was chaos. Rockefeller, just 20 years old, saw opportunity, but not in drilling. Drilling was risky, volatile, dependent on luck. He saw opportunity in refining, turning crude oil into kerosene for lamps. That was the real business. By 1863, he invested $4,000 in his first refinery. Within 2 years, it was the largest in Cleveland. But here's the thing. Cleveland had 30 refineries. Competition was fierce. Margins were razor thin. So Rockefeller didn't try to compete on price. He decided to eliminate competition entirely. And the method he used is the same method being used on you right now. Vertical integration. Here's what that means for your wallet. Most refineries just refined oil. They bought crude from drillers, refined it, sold kerosene to distributors. They control one step. Rockefeller decided to control all the steps. He bought the barrel factories. He bought tank cars and railroads. He bought warehouses. He bought distribution networks. Every step that used to be a separate business, generating profit for someone else, Rockefeller brought in-house. This gave him massive cost advantages. While competitors paid 25 cents per barrel, Rockefeller made his own for 15 cents. While competitors paid railroads to ship oil, Rockefeller owned the tank cars and negotiated secret rebates. The railroads actually paid him to ship his oil, while charging his competitors more. This wasn't just efficient. This was predatory. Rockefeller could sell kerosene at prices that put competitors out of business while still making profit. And that's exactly what he did. By 1870, he created Standard Oil Company of Ohio, but he still only controlled 4% of American refining. That wasn't enough, so he launched the second phase, horizontal integration. If vertical integration is controlling the supply chain, horizontal integration is buying or destroying every competitor. In 1872, Rockefeller initiated what historians call the Cleveland Massacre. Over 3 months, he approached every refinery owner in Cleveland. He offered to buy their refineries. If they agreed, he paid fair market value. If they refused, he launched a price war. He dropped kerosene prices below cost. His competitors couldn't produce as cheaply. They lost money on every sale. They had two choices: sell to Rockefeller or go bankrupt. Most sold. A few fought. They all lost. By the end of 1872, Rockefeller controlled 25 of Cleveland's 26 refineries. He went from 4% to 25% of American refining in just 3 months. This was the blueprint. Offer to buy. If they refuse, destroy them economically and buy the ruins. Now, here's where I need to ask you something important. Do you really think this tactic disappeared? Or do you see it happening every single day in the companies you buy from? Because Amazon does this exact same thing. They analyze third-party seller data, identify successful products, create Amazon Basics versions, and promote them above the originals. Same playbook, different century. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of America's refining capacity. But Rockefeller understood that monopolies face two problems. First, they're illegal. Second, they're hated. The public despised him. He was called a robber baron, a ruthless tyrant, the most hated man in America. He needed a solution. And he founded the trust. In 1882, Rockefeller's lawyers created the Standard Oil Trust. It was the first major corporate trust in American history. Here's why this matters to you. The trust became the template for the holding company, the parent company that owned subsidiaries. Berkshire Hathaway, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon. They're all descendants of Rockefeller's trust structure. By 1904, Standard Oil controlled 91% of oil refining in America. Rockefeller was the richest man in the world. At his peak in 1913, he was worth $400 billion in today's dollars. Richer than Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates combined. The richest individual in modern history. But the public was turning against monopolies. In 1906, investigative journalist Ida Tarbell exposed Rockefeller's tactics. The outcry was enormous. In 1911, the Supreme Court ruled Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly and ordered it broken up into 34 separate companies. This should have been the end. But it wasn't. It was the beginning of the system's evolution. Because when Standard Oil was broken up, Rockefeller still owned shares in all 34 companies. Standard Oil of New Jersey became Exxon. Standard Oil of New York became Mobil. Standard Oil of California became Chevron. And here's the kicker. Before the breakup, Standard Oil stock was worth about $600 per share. After the breakup, the combined value of all 34 companies was worth over $2,000 per share. Rockefeller's wealth tripled. The system broke itself up to avoid regulation, then quietly put itself back together over 100 years. Today, Exxon and Mobil have merged. Chevron bought Gulf Oil. BP bought Amoco. The Standard Oil monopoly that was broken up in 1911 has essentially reconsolidated into ExxonMobil Chevron and BP, the same companies you're buying your gasoline from today. But Standard Oil isn't even Rockefeller's most enduring legacy. The real legacy is the system itself. Let me show you how it's being used on you right now. Amazon uses vertical integration exactly like Rockefeller. It started as an online bookstore. Now it controls the entire supply chain, warehouses, logistics, delivery trucks, payment processing, cloud infrastructure. Amazon Web Services generates $90 billion in annual revenue. That's more than Amazon's retail profit. Rockefeller controlled refineries, railroads, and distribution. Amazon controls retail, logistics, and cloud computing. Same playbook, different century. Google uses the trust structure. Alphabet is a holding company that owns Google, YouTube, Way, Mo, Mine, and dozens of subsidiaries. One parent company controlling multiple operating companies. It's the Standard Oil Trust with a tech makeover. Pharmaceutical companies use Rockefeller's regulatory capture strategy. Rockefeller didn't just compete in markets. He shaped the rules. He lobbied for regulations that favored Standard Oil, today, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Merck. They do the same thing. They fund the FDA through user fees. They write the regulations they're supposedly regulated by. They learn from Rockefeller, control the regulators, and you control the market. Now here's my second question for you. How much of your money flows to companies using this 150-year-old system? Let me break it down. The average American spends $4,000 per year on gasoline, $3,000 on Amazon, $5,000 on healthcare beyond insurance, $4,200 on internet and technology services. That's $13,200 per year flowing to companies using Rockefeller's system. Over your lifetime, that's $660,000 of wealth transfer, not to innovative startups, not to small businesses, to monopolistic corporations using 150-year-old tactics to extract maximum profit from you. And you cannot escape it. You could refuse to buy gasoline, but you need to work, which requires transportation. You could refuse to use Amazon, but competitive pricing and convenience make it nearly impossible. You could refuse Google, but what alternative has 92% market share? You could refuse Facebook, but social connection is controlled by Meta's platforms. This is Rockefeller's ultimate achievement. Not that he became the richest man in history, that he built a system that makes escape impossible. A system where every path leads back to consolidated corporate control, where competition is crushed before it threatens the dominant players, where regulators protect incumbents instead of you. But there's one more piece of the system you need to understand, philanthropy. In 1913, Rockefeller created the Rockefeller Foundation with $250 million, over $7 billion in today's money. On the surface, this was charity, Rockefeller giving back. But look deeper. The foundation allowed Rockefeller to avoid estate taxes. It gave him control over which universities received funding, which meant control over what was taught and researched. It bought him legitimacy. The most hated man in America, became a beloved benefactor. The Rockefeller Foundation funded the creation of modern medical education. It established a model for medical schools that emphasized pharmaceutical interventions. And pharmaceutical companies, many descended from Standard Oil's chemical divisions, profited enormously. Today, every billionaire uses the Rockefeller playbook. Bill Gates founded the Gates Foundation. $75 billion in assets. It shapes who policy and influences national governments. Mark Zuckerberg created the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Warren Buffett pledged most of his wealth to the Gates Foundation. These aren't just charity. They're tax avoidance, legacy building, and policy influence. Rockefeller invented the model. Modern billionaires perfected it. He built a system that outlived him by a century and will outlive us all. The system is vertical integration, horizontal consolidation, corporate trust, regulatory capture, and philanthropic influence. It started with Standard Oil. It spread to steel, railroads, automobiles, electronics, pharmaceuticals, technology. Now it dominates every sector of the economy. You cannot escape it. But now, you understand it. Rockefeller once said, competition is a sin. Most people here agreed, but he meant it theologically. Consolidation is righteous. Monopoly is a natural end state of efficient markets. 150 years later, you live in that system. Amazon eliminates retail competition. Google eliminates search competition. Meta eliminates social media competition. 3 to 5 dominant players in every industry, all using Rockefeller's playbook, and the consolidation continues. Every year, fewer companies control more market share. Every year. Barriers to entry get higher. Every year. the system gets harder to escape. If this video showed you a system you've never seen before, if you understand now that the corporate structures controlling your life were built by one man 150 years ago, subscribe to this channel. Because understanding the system is the first step. You cannot escape the Rockefeller system. But you can see it, and seeing it ... changes everything. I'm Walter Grant, and this is Draxiver.